Indeed. Tom Connell is back with us, our chief election analyst, with some more numbers and analysis. Tom, where are we at?
Yeah, let's take a look at the state overall. I think it's important to stress the Liberal Party swing towards it has come down a little bit. Look, it got to 3.5 early. These are the outer early booths. And the swing just correcting a little bit back towards Labor. They were down 4% at one stage, but at nearly 20%, that's a pretty clear swing against the Labor Party, 3.5%, and a big tick up to the independents. But remember, Jackie Lambie network not running. So this is a fairly status quo result, albeit that exchange between the two major parties. In terms of how that's playing out right now, so we might just look. So here's the map. Here's what I've called in terms of these seats so far. This is the familiar place we get to with Hare Clark. 5 or 6 are decided. In fact, only 6 in Franklin, 5 in the rest look pretty certain. What happens to the others? Look, sometimes these can bounce around. There might be something that causes us to just pull one back, but I'm trying to be forward-leaning on this. So 12 Liberal, 7 Labor, 4 Independents and 3 Greens. What happens to the rest of these? Well, I want to go into each one quickly and give you an early prediction. So that's 3 Liberal, 2 Labor, 1 Green pretty clearly. This is a really interesting race. 0.39 quotas of Liberal Party ahead of either the Greens or Shooters, Fishers, Farmers. Minor parties tend to go better in Hare Clark. Could they get ahead of the Liberal Party and then get preferences from them to stay ahead of the Greens? It's just far too early to call that situation, and you could well see the Liberal Party move towards 4 with preference with votes from postal and pre-poll. Right now, maybe Shooters, Farmers, Fishers get just ahead. That would probably be more likely, but I'm just going on the current numbers here. You could actually see Shooters, Fishers, Farmers get in. I'm just very wary of the correction. In Braddon, very close to 4 for Liberal, so they would get 4 on that. Labor would get 2 on that. Craig Garland would be elected, and that's what you'd have, 4, 2 and 1, and no Green in Braddon on those figures. 0.56 is far too far back to come back from there. Franklin, interesting as well. So 2.7 for the Liberal Party, so at least 2, at least 1 for Labor, at least 1 for Peter George. He's got leftover. Where does that go? And then at least 1 here for the Greens. And I think David O'Byrne gets elected on 1 as well. So where do you get the 7th spot there? It ends up being between 0.7 for Liberal, 0.78 for Labor, and 0.68. So that'll be a very close battle, and that'll depend on how that all bounces around in those final numbers. You've got Clark as well, which is looking like situation normal. This, I think, is the most straightforward. 2 to Labor, 2 to the Liberal Party, 2 to the Greens because they're close enough, and then Christy Johnson, and she will have her excess vote, you would imagine, would help the Greens get their second member up there. So 2-2-2-1, which is status quo. Where do we end up then? Where does that all end up if I'm going to be more forward-leaning either than this map here, where I'm keeping those undecided ones because we just don't know enough about it, but I'm attempting to go a little bit further on that. This is what I've come up with, 14, 10, 6 and 5. Very close to situation normal. The biggest caveat to that is if there's going to be one change, an obvious change, it would be independent from 6 to 5, and the Liberal Party getting back ahead of the Shooters, Fishers, Farmers on the rest of the vote that comes in. And that would be 15, 10, 5 and 5. And so at that point, you would have the possibility, all the possibilities would be before both leaders again as they were last time, but would they behave the same way? So this feels very much like situation normal, like the same parliament, a very similar one, is going to be elected. What we do know as well, obviously, clearly, I said this last time, but I didn't hit the magic button. I better do it now. Liberals win the most seats in this election. I was saying it last time, I should have hit the button. But there we go. So that will happen. But in terms of how that parliament ends up again, this is not the ones we've called. This is where we're looking toward. Putting seats...
Tom Connell.
That I'm not necessarily calling, but saying that's where it ends up.
Well, you've hit the button, nailed it. Libs win the most seats in the parliament. Thank you, appreciate it.